I just wanted to bring some attention to something that you may, again, not be aware of that may be happening in your relationship, or you may be aware of it happening, but you do not have language for it and you do not have ways to deal with it. And that is sensory preference projection and sensory preference abandonment. What the heck am I talking about? Well, I was a sensory preference abandoner, and Pete tends to be a sensory preference projectioner. Or probably we were doing bits of both, I think, amongst the weeds of our relationship for 15 years in the unknown. So the more we can know the unknown, the more we can do about it. So sensory preference projection is where something that we prefer, we are projecting on other people. And obviously we would then prefer that they would prefer the same, or that they would do the same, and then we would have our preference met. In our home, this extended to some really quite interesting things. A couple of things just came to mind when I was thinking about it, and there's probably loads of things, things that I'm not going to share here, but the very simple things. One was just clothes. So Pete has very specific sensory preferences around touch and feel of fabrics, material. His touch and pressure sensory system is really massive for him in terms of how he relates to his environment without access to some other things that I use, like my people, other visual things, emotional perception, other things where Pete doesn't necessarily have those or isn't using those the same as me. He's using other things, and the feel of things was very important, and it still is very important to him. What it meant though was that I then sensory preference abandoned my preferences for maybe what I'm wearing, what I would wear when, what my clothes looked like, what colour they were, what they felt like, all sorts of things. He doesn't like socks, detests socks, sensory pain, sensory distress. How he wears, the kind of clothes he wears, what they feel like for him, very different than me. And so I stopped or avoided wearing socks because this caused him distress. Various things. There's other things. I just thought I'd mention the socks and the clothes thing because it was massive for us. Socks not so much, but but still, I was abandoning what I prefer. I would have cold feet, for goodness sake, rather than wear socks. So, or not even have socks seen anywhere. I can remember like squirreling them away or making sure they weren't left out when I took them off, or just wear them when I went away. For years, I just wore them when I went on holiday without him. Anyway, we do some crazy things, and I just want to bring attention to that because you may be doing some seemingly crazy things in your relationship. And I can remember thinking, this is a bit crazy, but I don't know what else to do about it. So sensory preference projection. Are you noticing that happening around you? Do you do that? Are you noticing that you prefer or are asking or almost demanding or requiring others to meet your or be meeting your sensory needs and preference? As I understand, there are times when we need others to adapt or to meet us where they can with our own, but there are also things where we may be projecting those on other people. You may notice that you are a sensory preference abandoner. You're abandoning your own preferences, maybe to the point where you don't even know what you want, what you like, what's your style, what you prefer. That was certainly me. I just lost touch with that completely. If any of this resonates for you, come into the quest. It's 21 days to get more awareness about this. Realise you're not on your own with these things. They're so common in our relationships, and find some ways to handle them. Okay,